guys, today I'm going to be doing 25 bookish facts about me tag, and today's a really special day because it's actually the 1-year anniversary of starting my YouTube channel. I am just so happy. I was planning on doing this 25 bookish facts on my 1-year anniversary, and lucky for me, people started doing it again, so that's why I'm doing it. And if you're watching this right now, I'm at BookCon. So what better way to celebrate my 1-year anniversary of BookTube than going to my first BookCon, my first convention ever. And I'm going with two of my really good friends, and it's just gonna be a really great day. I'm gonna be vlogging, so look for that later next week. Okay, without further ado, let's get into these bookish facts. In kindergarten, I remember vividly learning how to read because we had these little books that we made ourselves at school and then went home and we had to read a page, and after we read the page, we got to color the page. And I loved coloring, I loved arts and crafts, and I remember learning to read that way. When I was younger, I found my mom's old original copies of Nancy Drew books, and I thought it was so cool because I would just spend my weekends reading these really old Nancy Drew books, and then for Christmas, my mom got me new versions of the books that she had growing up, and I never read them. The first complete set of books that I ever had, and I loved looking at them on my bookshelf, was a box set of the Little House on the Prairie books, which I also never read. In like 2nd through 4th grade, somewhere in there, we had this time called DEAR, which stood for Drop Everything and Read. And every day we were supposed to bring a book or have a book in our desk, and at some point during the day, the teacher would say, okay, DEAR, and we would drop whatever we were doing and read for like 15 or 20 minutes, and that was my favorite time of the day. Some teachers would put it on the agenda on the board for the day, and I would get so excited when I came in and saw that that was on the schedule for the day. In elementary school, the last day of school before Christmas break, we would have library time, and the librarian would always read us The Polar Express up until like 5th grade, when I think that she decided she wasn't gonna read us that year, and we were so upset and we demanded that she read The Polar Express even though we were like really old, and that's why she didn't want to read it, but everyone in the class always looked forward to it every year. My school would have these things where in elementary school we would go to the library and be able to pick out a book for free, but the thing is that we would have to pick out a book and then find an adult, and we had to either start from the first chapter, the first page, and read for, I don't know, a number of pages, or the teacher would turn to a random spot in the book and we'd have to start there. And this was a way to judge if the book was on our reading level, was the 5-finger rule. So if we mispronounced 5 words, we couldn't get that book because it was above our reading level. And I remember getting The Wizard of Oz, and I wanted it so bad, but I had never seen the word cupboard, and so when I read it, it's literally spelled cupboard, and that's what I said, and I was looking at it really weird until I realized it was cupboard, and I freaked out, and I was like, cupboard, I know that word, please let me get this book, please, I want this book so bad. And I just remember having like a freak out in the library because I wanted The Wizard of Oz so bad, and I didn't want the word cupboard to be the word that kept me from getting this book. Going off of that, I absolutely lived for the Scholastic Pacts that we would get. It was like these little magazine pamphlet type things with a whole bunch of books in it, and on the back you would mark which ones you wanted, bring it to school with money, and give it to the teacher, and they would put in an order, and then you would get books back. You were ordering books, and as soon as we would get it, I would go through in class and mark all the books I wanted, and I would probably come home with like 10 or 15 books that I wanted, and I wanted them so bad, and my parents hated these things so much because I would always come home and beg for these books, and I was usually like the only one in my class that got books out of it because no one in my class really liked reading except for me. A lot of people daydream about their future library when they're building their house or something like that. I have always in my entire life wanted nothing more than to have a window seat that I could put nice pillows and cozy up on it and read during the summer, and that is what I dream about. I'm absolutely terrible at remembering the plots of books, and I usually have to do a book review immediately after I finish the book, otherwise I will forget everything that the book is about, which is really bad for going to see book to movie adaptations because I always walk away going, wow, they got a lot of stuff from the book, because usually the movies will take like the big parts of the book that I do remember, whereas my friend Allegra would always come away from Harry Potter movies being like, they missed this and this and this, and I would be like, I thought they did a really good job, but in reality I just didn't remember anything about the books. All of the ladies in my family really enjoy reading, and they will pass books amongst themselves, and I think that it's really cute. And so I get a lot of books from my grandma. When I was younger, my grandma would read to me these little books, and before I could read, there are these picture books, and even after I could read, I would make up my own stories and read them to her with these little picture books. So I feel like my whole family has really just driven my love for reading and really encouraged me to read all my life. I love reading paperbacks more than hardcovers because I feel like they're easier to handle. In high school, I read a lot of books with male main characters, like It's Kind of a Funny Story and Looking for Alaska, Paper Towns. That's how I got into John Green, because the only person that would recommend me books on a regular basis, like I'm talking every other week basis, was a boy named Joe, and we were really good friends, and he just loved how into reading I was, and so he would recommend all of these books for me to read, and that's how I got into Johnny Green. I owe it all to him. Going off of that, I really don't have that many friends that like to read. I have the two girls that I'm going to BookCon with, but even we don't really always have the same style of books that we like to read, and I just don't have a lot of friends that like to read, and especially that read on the level that I read on, which is a really fast-paced level because I do BookTube now and I have to read those books. I don't have to, I want to, and BookTube makes me want to read. I just wish that I had more friends that wanted to read like I read. And because I don't have many friends that read, I get a lot of the books that I read based off of recommendations. When I was in school, it would be friends that were recommending it to me, but now that I do BookTube, the majority of the books that you see on these bookshelves were because I heard other booktubers talk about them, and the majority of the books that I read are ones that I hear about from other booktubers. I have seasonal reading preferences, which is something that I don't hear a lot of people talk about, which I really want to do a video talking about. Oh, my camera. Millie. I have a really hard time focusing on reading anything electronically. I do have a Nook, I do have an iPad that I use for ebooks, but I don't really use ebooks anymore. And even reading articles for classes in college, I have a really hard time reading electronically. Audiobooks have always made me fall asleep. I have to focus really hard if I want to listen to an audiobook, otherwise I'll just tune it out. I truly believe that there's a book or genre or something for everyone, and if someone is saying that they don't like reading, I don't think that they're reading the right things. When I started my BookTube channel, I actually had no idea that BookTube even existed. Last summer I wasn't going to be working. I wanted to take the summer off, and instead of saying I'm bored all the time, my now fiance, he was my fiance at the time, yeah, my fiance told me that I need to get myself a hobby, and I was getting back into reading, and I was really loving making videos and editing videos. So I thought, hey, I can do that. I can read a book and then make a video about the books that I'm reading. And then I found out that it's a whole thing, and that's the story of how I started my BookTube channel. I needed to find a hobby because I'm a boring person with no life. I have a really hard time reading series. I'll start the first book in a series, but then I get really nervous to continue on with the series because I don't want to end up not liking an entire series, and I put all of this effort into reading all of these books and then ended up not liking it, which is ironic because when I was younger I really hated standalones because I didn't want the story to end. I wanted it to keep going, and I loved reading series. I will lend my books out to absolutely anyone if it means that it will get them into reading or if it will make them want to read more. Creating a love for reading in children very early on is something that I'm very passionate about, and that's one of the reasons that I'm going into preschool teaching and wanting to work with younger kids, because I'm really excited to read with them and instill that love for reading with them if they're not getting it at home. I want more book merch. I see everyone on BookTube with all of these cute shirts and all of this cute swag, and I don't have any of it, and I want all of the book merch. So I'm really excited that I'm at BookCon as I'm speaking, getting all of this free stuff because I want it bad. And finally, BookTube has completely changed my life, and it's so strange to think that it's only been a year, because looking back at last year, oh my gosh, my videos now compared to my first videos are a complete difference. I've come such a long way, and I'm so excited for what the future is going to hold. And those are some bookish facts about me. Since it is my 1-year anniversary, I also just want to say thank you. Thank you for watching my videos and for talking with me about books. If you comment on my videos, thank you for beginning these friendships with me, because it really means a lot to me. And I honestly would not be doing any of this. I would not have such nice videos. I wouldn't get to go to BookCon. I wouldn't get to get books. I wouldn't be able to do anything if it wasn't for my dad. My dad has really funded my channel. He pays for all of my equipment, and he paid for me to go to BookCon because he knows that this is something that I'm passionate about. I'm getting really emotional because I'm really grateful, because this is something that I love to do, and it's something that I want to continue doing, and I love being able to put out quality content for you guys, and I really wouldn't be able to do it without my dad. So thank you, Dad. I love you. I know you're watching this right now. You watch all my videos and you show me off to all your friends, and I'm forever grateful for you supporting me, not only in my reading, but in all aspects of my life. I love you so much, and I love all of you viewers so much. I really think of you guys as my friends, and I'm excited, really excited to see what the future will hold. If this is my first video that you're seeing and you like my face, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to see more bookish videos, because there's gonna be more. There's gonna be a whole other year now of videos and more where this one comes from for sure. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!